All right, so we're diving deep into LLMs and AI, all the latest research papers and articles.
Yeah.
We're here to kind of break it all down and give you some insights.
It's been pretty wild lately.
Yeah.
A lot of exciting developments and some healthy debate about what it all means.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so first off,
Uh,
Elon Musk's XAI just dropped Grok 3,
yeah.
and they're saying that it's exceeding giants like GPT-4 and Gemini on some key benchmarks. They even threw out some pretty huge numbers.
Yeah.
200,000 GPUs, 8 E26 FLOPs of compute.
Right.
I mean, are we talking about a real game changer here?
Well, I mean, the numbers definitely grab your attention, right?
Yeah.
So FLOPs, to break it down, that stands for floating point operations per second.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically a measure of how much raw computing power is being used.
Yeah.
But while Grok 3's performance on benchmarks is impressive,
Right.
it's important to remember that those benchmarks aren't always perfect reflections of real-world tasks,
So it's not just a simple case of saying higher FLOP is better model.
Exactly.
Right.
The OpenAI SWE Lancer benchmark, which tests LLMs on practical software engineering tasks,
Right.
shows that even the most advanced models can really struggle with some aspects of real-world coding. So this suggests that raw computational power isn't the only factor
Right.
determining a model's usefulness.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like having a really, really fast sports car,
Yeah.
but not knowing the rules of the road.
Yeah.
It's not just about speed, it's about navigating all those complexities of the real world.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Think about it this way.
Okay.
LLMs might be great at, generating code when
Mhm.
you give them very specific instructions,
Yeah.
but real-world software development,
Yeah.
it often involves understanding ambiguous requirements,
Right.
adapting to unforeseen challenges,
Yeah.
and then collaborating with human developers.
Right.
Of course. And these are areas where even the most powerful LLMs still have some room for improvement.
Yeah, they're not quite there yet. So Grok 3 might be winning in the benchmark arena, but the real test is how it performs in those kind of messy, unpredictable real-world situations.
Absolutely.
All right.
And this really highlights a crucial point. I think
Okay.
we need to move beyond just benchmarks, right? And develop evaluation methods that better reflect the real-world applications
Yeah, that makes sense.
of these LLMs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Speaking of real-world impact,
Right.
the open source community is making some pretty big waves.
Yes.
With Perplexity's release of R1 1776, an uncensored version of DeepSeek R1,
Right.
it seems like there's a real push for greater transparency and accessibility in this space.
There is, yeah. And I think open sourcing these models allows for wider access,
Yeah.
more experimentation, and the development of tools that can push the field forward in ways that closed models just can't.
Okay.
It also fosters transparency,
Right.
allowing researchers to really scrutinize
Yeah.
the inner workings of these models and then identify any potential biases or limitations.
So it's not just about making these models available. It's also about opening up that black box
Exactly.
and understanding how these LLMs actually work.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay.
And this increased transparency can lead to more responsible development and use of AI, right? It's not just about making the most powerful model. It's also about understanding its limitations and potential impact.
It seems like there's a bit of a tug of war going on between those who are pushing for bigger and more powerful models,
Right.
and then others who are advocating for open access and responsible development.
Yeah, that's a good observation. And I think that's a tension that's likely to continue
Right.
as the field of LLMs evolves.
Yeah.
On the one hand, you have that allure of building ever larger models
Right.
with seemingly limitless capabilities.
Yeah.
But on the other hand,
Yeah.
there's a growing recognition of the need for transparency,
Okay.
ethical considerations,
Yeah.
and broader access
Uh-huh.
to ensure that these powerful tools are used responsibly
Right.
and benefit society as a whole.
Okay, before we move on, I got to ask you about this context window battle.
Oh, yeah.
So Claude is boasting this 200,000 token window,
Right.
which makes ChatGPT's 32,000 look tiny.
Yeah.
And then there are rumors that Gemini might have millions of tokens
Right.
for enterprise users.
Yeah.
I mean, what does this even mean for someone who's trying to keep up with all of this?
Well, the context window
Yeah.
refers to the amount of information an LLM can kind of remember
Okay.
and process at once.
Right.
A larger context window lets the model handle longer documents.
Got it.
Carry on more nuanced conversations.
Yeah.
And potentially access a wider range of knowledge.
So, like, if I'm writing a novel with an LLM, a bigger context window would let it kind of keep track of characters, plot points, themes more effectively.
Exactly. It's like giving the model a larger mental workspace to kind of juggle those ideas and information. However, DeepSeek's research on native sparse attention, or NSA, suggests that computational efficiency can be just as crucial as brute force size. You know, it's not just about having the biggest context window. It's also about finding clever algorithms to make the most of the information it contains.
So we're back to that balance between raw power and smart design.
Exactly.
It's fascinating how these different approaches are really shaping this landscape of LLMs.
It really is.
Yeah. It really is. And as these models become more complex and capable, it raises some interesting questions about how we measure progress and success in this field.
Right, because if it's not just about chasing benchmarks, then what should we be looking at? What really matters when we're evaluating these LLMs?
That's a key question, and I think it comes down to focusing on real-world applications. And the value these models can bring to different tasks. So it's about moving beyond theoretical capabilities and looking at how LLMs are actually being used to solve problems, enhance creativity, and improve our lives.
So instead of getting caught up in the hype of this model is bigger or that model scored higher, we should be asking, what can these models actually do for me?
Exactly.
How can they help me in my work, my research, or even my hobbies?
Yeah, think about the practical implications. For example, LLMs with large context windows could revolutionize legal research by quickly analyzing vast amounts of case law. Or they could help scientists sift through mountains of data to accelerate scientific discovery. The possibilities are truly vast. And that's where the real excitement lies.
Okay, so let's talk about some of those possibilities. We've got Perplexity experiencing explosive user growth. DeepSeek focusing on open science and hardware optimization. Aomni, this new startup, raising millions to build AI agents for revenue generation. It feels like the AI market is just exploding right now.
It is, and that rapid growth brings both opportunities and challenges. One challenge is ensuring that these powerful tools are accessible to a wide range of users. Not just those with deep pockets or technical expertise. That's why initiatives like open source LLMs and platforms that simplify AI development are so important.
It's about democratizing access to this technology so that everyone can benefit from its potential.
Exactly.
I'm also seeing a lot of discussion online about the potential downsides of these advances. Concerns about job displacement, algorithmic bias, even the idea of AI becoming too powerful. It's a lot to take in.
It's understandable that people have these concerns. As with any transformative technology, there are potential risks that need to be carefully considered. But I believe that by fostering open dialogue, promoting responsible development, and focusing on human-centered design, we can harness the power of AI for good while mitigating those potential harms.
So it's not just about building the technology, it's also about having these important conversations about ethics, responsible use, and the kind of future that we want to create with AI.
Absolutely. It's a shared responsibility that involves researchers, developers, policymakers, and the public. We need to work together to ensure that AI is used in a way that benefits all of humanity.
I love that idea of a shared responsibility. It's not about fearing the technology, but about actively shaping its development and trajectory.
Precisely, and I think that starts with education and awareness. The more people understand about AI, its potential and its limitations, the better equipped we'll be to guide its evolution in a positive direction.
So for those of us who are fascinated by this field, but maybe not AI experts, what are some practical steps that we can take to get involved and contribute to this conversation?
Well, first and foremost, stay informed. Keep up with the latest developments in the field by reading articles, listening to podcasts like this one, and engaging with online communities. There are tons of great resources out there that break down complex AI concepts in an accessible way.
That's great advice. Don't be afraid to dive in and start learning, even if it seems intimidating at first.
Exactly. And as you learn, don't hesitate to share your knowledge with others.
Okay.
Talk to your friends and family about AI, its potential impact, and the ethical considerations involved.
Okay.
The more we can demystify AI
Right.
and bring these conversations into the mainstream,
Yeah.
the better.
I also think it's important to support organizations and initiatives that are promoting responsible AI development.
Absolutely. There are many groups working to ensure that AI is used ethically and benefits society.
Right.
You can volunteer your time,
Uh-huh.
donate to these organizations,
Yeah.
or simply spread the word about their work.
So it's about taking action, even in small ways, to support the development of AI that aligns with our values.
Precisely. Every little bit helps. And finally, don't underestimate the power of your voice.
Okay.
Engage in online discussions, write to your elected officials,
Yeah.
and advocate for policies that promote responsible AI development.
Right.
Remember, the future of AI is not predetermined. It's something that we collectively have the power to shape.
That's a powerful message. It's not about passively observing the rise of AI, but about actively participating in its evolution.
Right. And by working together, we can help ensure that AI becomes a force for good in the world.
It's interesting how we keep coming back to this idea of balance.
Right.
Like, balance between raw power and these smart algorithms.
Yeah.
And that balance between pushing the limits of what's possible
Right.
while also ensuring that development is responsible. And it seems like this open source movement is really playing a key role in striking that balance.
It is. Open source is all about democratizing access
Right.
to this technology,
Yeah.
making it available to a wider range of users, and fostering that collaborative spirit of innovation.
Okay.
It's like a global community of developers and researchers coming together to build the future of AI, brick by brick.
I love that analogy, and this collaborative approach seems especially important when
Yeah.
you consider the sheer scale and complexity of these LLMs. It's not something that any one company or research lab can really tackle on their own.
Exactly. Open sourcing these models
Right.
allows for a diversity of perspectives and approaches.
Yeah.
You have people from all over the world with different backgrounds and areas of expertise
Yeah.
contributing their ideas and working together to push the boundaries of what's possible.
And this open approach, it not only accelerates innovation,
Right.
but it also helps to address some of those concerns about bias and transparency that we were talking about earlier. When you kind of open up the code,
Yeah.
you're allowing for greater scrutiny, which can really help identify and then mitigate any potential issues.
It's like having many eyes on the problem,
Okay.
each looking from a different angle.
Yeah.
And this collective scrutiny can help ensure that these models are developed and used in a responsible and ethical manner.
Okay, so for our listeners who are thinking,
Hey, this all sounds really cool, but where do we even start?
Right.
What advice would you give them?
Well, there's never been a better time to jump in.
Okay.
Platforms like Hugging Face are an incredible resource
Yeah.
for anyone who is interested in exploring the world of open source AI.
Right.
They have a vast library of pre-trained models, data sets, tools that you can use to get started right away.
It's like a giant playground for AI enthusiasts.
It is.
And the community aspect is just amazing.
It is, yeah.
You can connect with other developers, ask questions, share your work, learn from each other.
It's very welcoming and supportive.
It's great.
And you don't even need to be like an expert coder to contribute.
Okay.
There's so many ways to get involved, whether it's helping to train models, testing out new applications,
or simply just sharing your ideas and feedback.
So it's really inspiring to see how this open approach
Yeah.
is empowering individuals to participate in this development of AI,
Right.
rather than just leaving it in the hands of these large institutions.
It truly is a democratizing force.
Yeah.
And as these open source models continue to evolve and improve, they have the potential to revolutionize countless industries and aspects of our lives.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into the world of LLMs, I think the key takeaway is this.
Okay.
The future of AI is not a spectator sport.
Right.
It's something that we all have a role in shaping, whether we're seasoned developers, curious learners, or simply engaged citizens.
I couldn't agree more. by staying informed, asking critical questions, and supporting initiatives that align with our values, we can help guide the development of AI in a direction that benefits all of humanity.
And that's a future worth striving for. So to our listeners, I say this. Keep exploring, keep learning, and keep asking those big questions. Because the future of AI is unfolding right now. And it's up to all of us to make it a future we can all be proud of.